In the intricate tapestry of life, animals stand as complex organisms composed of trillions of cells working in perfect harmony. These cells, the fundamental units of life, do not function in isolation. Instead, they organize themselves into specialized groups called tissues, each with its unique structure and function. These tissues in turn form organs, and organs work together in systems to sustain the life of the animal. Animal tissues are not merely collections of cells, they are highly organized structures that allow for specialization and efficiency. This specialization is crucial for the survival of multicellular organisms like animals. Imagine a single-celled organism like an amoeba. It must perform all life functions within the confines of its single cell. In contrast, a multicellular animal can delegate tasks to specialized tissues, allowing for greater complexity and efficiency. There are 4 primary types of animal tissues: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, nervous tissue, and muscle tissue. Each tissue type plays a vital role in the body, and their coordinated function is essential for the organism's survival. Epithelial tissue forms protective barriers and lines organs. Connective tissue binds and supports other tissues. Nervous tissue transmits electrical signals, and muscle tissue enables movement. Understanding the structure and function of animal tissues is fundamental to comprehending the complexity and beauty of animal life. From the lining of our organs to the beating of our hearts, these tissues work tirelessly to maintain our health and well-being. Epithelial tissue, or epithelium, is the body's first line of defense, forming a protective barrier against the external environment. This tissue type lines the outer surfaces of the body, such as the skin, and the inner surfaces of organs, such as the lining of the digestive tract and the lungs. Epithelial tissues are avascular, meaning they lack blood vessels, and they rely on diffusion from underlying tissues for nutrients and oxygen. Epithelial tissues are characterized by their tightly packed cells with minimal intercellular space. This close arrangement of cells creates a strong barrier that prevents the entry of harmful substances and pathogens. Additionally, epithelial tissues exhibit polarity, meaning they have a distinct apical surface that faces the external environment, or the lumen of an organ, and a basal surface that attaches to the underlying connective tissue. The classification of epithelial tissues is based on the shape of the cells and the number of cell layers. Simple epithelial tissues consist of a single layer of cells, while stratified epithelial tissues have multiple layers. Squamous epithelial cells are flat and scale-like. Cuboidal epithelial cells are cube-shaped, and columnar epithelial cells are tall and rectangular. Connective tissue, as its name suggests, serves as the body's primary binding and supporting tissue. It provides structural support to other tissues and organs, holds them in place, and helps to defend the body against infection. Unlike epithelial tissues, connective tissues are typically well vascularized, meaning they have a rich blood supply. Connective tissues are composed of cells embedded in an extracellular matrix. The extracellular matrix is a complex network of protein fibers and ground substance. The protein fibers, including collagen, elastin, and reticular fibers, provide strength, elasticity, and support to the tissue. The ground substance, a gel-like material, fills the spaces between cells and fibers and allows for the diffusion of nutrients and waste products. There are several types of connective tissue, each with its unique composition and function. Loose connective tissue, found beneath the epithelium and surrounding organs, is characterized by its loose arrangement of fibers and abundant ground substance. Dense connective tissue, found in tendons and ligaments, has a higher density of collagen fibers, providing strength and resistance to tension. Blood, a specialized type of connective tissue, plays a vital role in transporting oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and immune cells throughout the body. It also helps to regulate body temperature and pH. Unlike other connective tissues, blood has a liquid extracellular matrix called plasma. Plasma, a pale yellow fluid, constitutes about 55% of blood volume. It is primarily composed of water, but it also contains dissolved proteins, electrolytes, nutrients, hormones, and waste products. Suspended within the plasma are the formed elements of blood: red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Red blood cells, or erythrocytes, are the most abundant cells in blood and are responsible for transporting oxygen. They contain hemoglobin, an iron-containing protein that binds to oxygen in the lungs and releases it to the body's tissues. White blood cells, or leukocytes, are part of the immune system and help to defend the body against infection. Platelets, or thrombocytes, are cell fragments involved in blood clotting. Section 5, nervous tissue, the body's control center. Nervous tissue is, well, the body's communication network, responsible for transmitting electrical signals throughout the body. It forms the brain, spinal cord, and peripheral nerves. Nervous tissue is composed of two main cell types, neurons and neuroglia. Neurons are the functional units of the nervous system, specialized for transmitting electrical signals called nerve impulses. A typical neuron consists of a cell body, dendrites, and an axon. The cell body contains the nucleus and other organelles. Dendrites are short, branched extensions that receive signals from other neurons. The axon is, a long, slender extension that transmits signals to other neurons, muscles, or glands. Neuroglia or glial cells are supporting cells that provide structural support, insulation, and nutrients to neurons. They also play a role in immune defense and signal transmission within the nervous system. Section 6. Muscle tissue, powering movement. Muscle tissue is responsible for movement in the body. It is composed of cells that can contract, generating force and causing movement. There are three types of muscle tissue: skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle. Skeletal muscle, attached to bones by tendons, is responsible for voluntary movements such as walking, running, and lifting objects. Skeletal muscle cells are long, cylindrical, and multinucleated. They have a striated appearance under a microscope due to the arrangement of contractile proteins within the cells. Smooth muscle, found in the walls of internal organs such as the digestive tract, blood vessels, and bladder, is responsible for involuntary movements such as peristalsis, vasoconstriction, and bladder contraction. Smooth muscle cells are spindle-shaped and unenucleate. They lack striations and are under involuntary control. Cardiac muscle, found only in the heart, is responsible for pumping blood throughout the body. Cardiac muscle cells are striated and branched, and they are connected by intercalated discs, specialized junctions that allow for synchronized contractions of the heart. Section 7. Tendons, ligaments, and cartilage. Supporting movement and structure. Tendons, ligaments, and cartilage are specialized connective tissues that play crucial roles in supporting movement and maintaining the structural integrity of the body. While they are all composed of connective tissue, they differ in their composition, properties, and functions. Tendons are tough, fibrous cords that attach skeletal muscles to bones. They are primarily composed of densely packed collagen fibers arranged in a parallel fashion, providing strength and resistance to tension. When a muscle contracts, the tendon transmits the force to the bone, causing movement. Ligaments are strong, fibrous bands that connect bones to other bones at joints. Like tendons, ligaments are composed of densely packed collagen fibers, but they have a more elastic component, allowing for a certain degree of flexibility and movement at the joint. Ligaments help to stabilize joints, prevent excessive movement, and maintain the alignment of bones. Cartilage is a flexible and resilient connective tissue that provides support and cushioning in various parts of the body. It is composed of specialized cells called chondrocytes that secrete a rubbery extracellular matrix rich in collagen and elastin fibers. Cartilage is found in joints where it reduces friction and absorbs shock, as well as in the ears, nose, trachea, and ribs, where it provides structural support and flexibility. Section 8. The interconnectedness of animal tissues. Animal tissues, though specialized in their functions, do not exist in isolation. They are intricately interconnected, forming a complex and harmonious network that sustains life. This interconnectedness is evident at all levels of organization, from the cellular level to the organ system level. For instance, epithelial tissues, while forming protective barriers, often rely on underlying connective tissues for support, nourishment, and waste removal. Blood vessels within the connective tissue supply oxygen and nutrients to the epithelial cells, while lymphatic vessels drain away waste products. In turn, epithelial tissues secrete substances that help to maintain the integrity and function of the underlying connective tissue. Similarly, nervous tissue, responsible for communication and control, interacts extensively with muscle tissue, which carries out the body's movements. Nerves transmit signals to muscles, triggering contractions that result in movement. This interplay between nervous and muscle tissue is essential for all voluntary and involuntary movements. Furthermore, different tissue types often work together to form organs, which are specialized structures that perform specific functions. For example, the stomach, an organ involved in digestion, is composed of all four primary tissue types: epithelial tissue lining its inner surface, connective tissue providing support and structure, muscle tissue facilitating contractions that mix and churn food, and nervous tissue regulating contractions and secretions. Section 9. Conclusion: the symphony of tissues. Animal tissues are the fundamental building blocks of animal life. From the protective barriers of epithelial tissue to the binding and supporting role of connective tissue, the communication network of nervous tissue, and the movement-generating capacity of muscle tissue, each tissue type plays a vital role in maintaining the organism's health and survival. The intricate structure and specialized functions of animal tissues highlight the remarkable complexity and elegance of biological organization. The four primary tissue types, along with their variations and specialized forms, work in concert, forming a harmonious symphony that sustains the life of the animal. Understanding the structure, function, and interconnectedness of animal tissues is essential for comprehending the intricacies of animal physiology, development, and evolution. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of the animal kingdom, the study of tissues will undoubtedly remain a cornerstone of biological inquiry.